there, and welcome to the Teenier Tinkers channel. I make ball jointed doll and craft related content. This is my second channel. My main channel is Teeny Tinkers. It's a much bigger channel. I'm hoping to hit 10,000 over there. If I haven't already by the time I post this, I don't think I would have, but I'm really hoping to hit 10,000 over there, and I'm really hoping to hit 1,000 over here. That would be super duper cool. So if you're not already subscribed, please take a moment and subscribe, especially if you're a returning viewer and like the content. But if you're new here, you can stick around, figure out if you like the video and all of that. I do a lot of crafty things on this channel, especially for dolls. And I thought it would be really fun to just kind of do like one of those listicle type videos. And I'm going to share 100 ideas of things you can make for your dolls. Of course, this can be ball jointed doll, it could be American Girl dolls, it could be Barbie dolls, it could be any doll. I'm gonna get started with the list now, but it is 100 items, so it might be quite long. However, I do encourage you to stick around because I do have an announcement, which I will put maybe somewhere in the middle, maybe just a little bit in. So yeah. I've put these things into categories, which just really helped me make the list easier. So let's start with category 1, which is clothes. Clothes are probably the most obvious things you can list out for making for your dolls. A lot of us are sewing for our dolls anyways, but just bear with me while we go through the first set of items. Number 1, dresses. There's a lot of really cute sundress type patterns and everything over on Etsy. If you look up general dress patterns, they are quite simple sometimes. There are also very complicated ones, so, you know, take that with a grain of salt. Number 2 is t-shirts. There are very simple ways to make t-shirts and very complicated ways to make t-shirts. And of course, they do look different in the end, so there's a different way to make all of these things, I'll just say that, for each of your skill levels. But fair warning that things like t-shirts and a stretchy material can be a little complicated, especially if you have to add a collar or something to stop it looking frayed, or if you have to add these little itty bitty seams. Sometimes you're better off hand stitching these, although if you can use a sewing machine, it will look a lot cleaner, but yeah. Number 3 is pants. Pants can be very, very easy, especially if you're doing something more in like the leggings type pants, to something a little more complicated if you're doing something like, these are not finished, do not judge me, like some jeans with pockets that have like the side seams and the back pockets that are also functional. I need to add another snap, don't look at that. But there's all different types of things you can make, so just putting that out there. Number 4 is skirts. Now, if you are just getting started in sewing clothes for your dolls, I do recommend skirts. Simple A-line skirt is probably the easiest thing you will ever make. If you want to learn about like box pleating or anything like that, you can also like try something like that. But the simplest skirt you can do is just taking one long straight like piece of fabric, like rectangle, I don't know, maybe like 8 centimeters by like 40 centimeters. Yeah. And putting a seam along the bottom, stitching a piece of elastic to the top, and then stitching the back together. It is the most simple skirt you will ever make, and it's a really great place to start if you're starting making doll clothes. Number 5 is shorts. If you can make pants, you can definitely make shorts. And shorts are really great for anybody who wants to, again, maybe take it one step further than a skirt, but also shorts are a really great project for those really cheap bundles of like fat quarter, non-stretch fabric bundles you get all over Amazon and stuff. So yeah, and they look super cute in like the funny, like the fruit prints and the floral prints. So like big recommend doing that. Number 6 is jackets. Jackets are complicated, but yeah, I feel like jackets in general make an outfit look really put together, and I like having an assortment of jackets, but they can be really pricey. So if you can get away with making them yourself, strong recommend. Number 7 is sweaters. Now you can sew sweaters using like a knit fabric. Of course you can, but you can also knit or crochet them. If you already know how to knit or crochet, it's really fun to figure out doing it in miniature. The needles can be a bit tricky to find, but, and you know, it can make your hands cramp a little, but once you get going, I think it's really fun. And it's basically how I started making doll clothes, was by making sweaters for dolls. So yeah, I also have a couple knit with me's, one on this channel and one over on my, maybe a couple over on my first channel. If you search Teen You Thinkers Knit With Me, and I do like tutorials and stuff, and I have a free pattern on my website, so yeah, check it out. Number 8 is coats. Little bit different than a jacket. I've never actually made a doll coat. The difference between jacket and coat for me is the thickness of it. If there's some kind of like a padding layer or like a puff layer, that would be a coat to me. So I have yet to try one. I would like to make a puffer jacket or a puffer coat, I guess. Maybe one with like a bit of a faux fur trim hood. I think that would be super fun to make and super cute in pictures. Maybe I'll try and make one of those in the near future, but it's something you can make. Number 9 is pajamas. Again, it doesn't have to be super specific. If you can make t-shirts and shorts, you can make pajamas. A lot of it comes down to the fabric choice. Similarly, you can make bathrobes. A bathrobe is kind of just a cardigan with like a waist tie. That's basically all it is. And you can do this with like terry cloth fabric. If you don't want to buy terry cloth fabric because it's weirdly expensive sometimes, you can always just buy like hand towels or like face cloth type things from like the dollar store and turn those into bathrobes. Yeah. Number 11 is kimonos. I see a lot of people sewing these. I've never bothered trying to make one of these because I honestly do not know how to style them with the way I like style my dolls in general, but they are really beautiful when done well, so that's something you could try your hand at. Another fun idea for number 12 is costumes, especially going into Halloween, like to make your own doll like Halloween costume. I feel like it's something you could make a new one every year, and eventually like little kids, or like my kids at least, you end up with like a pile of costumes you can like throw together for like any occasion. So strong recommend doing costumes. I made some Halloween costumes last Halloween. I made a witch costume. I made 2 other costumes and a ghost. Anyways, you can make Halloween costumes, and that's a really fun way to spend some time and really lets you stretch your creativity. Okay, number 13 is swimwear. You can also just make this as underwear, but especially going into the summer, it can be really fun to take cute summer pictures of your dolls, and having a cute swimsuit would really add to that. I also feel like the triangle bikini formation is extremely easy to do if it's like your first time, especially since you can just basically use elastic, like just regular old elastic for all of the straps, and it's super easy peasy. Number 14 is tunics. I don't have a ton of these in my own doll collection, like the clothes collection of things I make, but they are super cute and like, I don't know, especially if you're going for like a boho vibe. I don't see a lot of people making or selling tunics, especially if you're into this kind of thing. I think it'd be beneficial to try making on your own. It's basically just a long shirt. If you can make a shirt, you can make a tunic. Number 15 is uniforms. Now, again, this is kind of like costumes, but like make it every day. If you want to do like police uniforms, if you want to do like nurse uniforms, or God, there's like a million different things you could make. And especially if you do like photo stories and stuff, having uniforms can be really fun in like adding to your photo stories, or adding like, I don't know. And you can also just use these as costumes. So like you could double down if you really wanted to, but yeah. Number 16 is formal wear. Doll formal wear is so expensive for good reason. A lot of time it's very structured. You probably want a pattern for this, or if you can draft patterns, to draft a pattern for this. I have yet to try anything like a suit or like a satin dress, though I would like to in the near future. I feel like this is advanced sewing almost no matter what style of dress or suit you go for. If you can make one, or if you have made them, please let me know down in the comments, because that's hella impressive. Number 17 is capes. I did make a cape for that Halloween witch costume, like a capelet. But there's a lot of different versions of capes. There's like more formal capes, and there's like superhero capes. A lot of times capes are very, very, very simple to make, and you can just basically make a rectangle with a strap kind of running through it, but like, yeah, super simple and easy if you're looking for something to get started with. Number 18 is scarves. Scarves, I don't know if I would sew a scarf. I feel like you could. Yeah, actually you could. You definitely could. You just, yeah, I just never have. But you can also just knit them. This is really great if you're just getting started knitting because you don't really need a pattern. You just need to cast on like 8 to 15 stitches and just knit or crochet until it's done. So yeah, maybe if you're new to knitting or crocheting, that might be somewhere good to start. Number 19 is gloves. Gloves or mittens. Mittens are going to be a lot easier, especially in something like 6 scale or quarter scale. But if you can knit or sew itty bitty gloves, like that's wild. Good on you. I don't know how you keep the seams small enough, but super impressive. Finally, number 20 is socks. Another really great, easy project to start with, especially shorter socks. Longer socks can be a little difficult to get the fit right, especially because different dolls all have different kind of leg shapes. But the nice thing about it is a lot of times socks are stretchy. So as long as you're not making them too big or insanely too small, they probably will fit. And yeah, I feel like it's something I never have enough of and I never think to sew for my dolls, but I definitely need to sit down and just have a sock sewing session one of these days. So I just can have socks to match all the outfits for the clothes I am making. So, all right, that was our first 20. That was 1/5 of the way through. And I don't want this video to be 8 hours long, so I'm going to try and pick up the pace a little. And the next category is accessories. Okay, so for accessories, I'm just going to lay it out there. You can sew these, you can knit these, you can crochet these, but yeah. So number 21 is hats. All different kinds of hats you can make. A simple ribbed beanie is probably one of the easiest things you can make, or a cat ear beanie. Those are also super simple. If anybody would like a tutorial of those, please let me know. That's something I could definitely do a knit with me for. Number 22 is shoes. Shoes are hard. Something like sandals is going to be a lot easier than something like a structured boot. But I have attempted to make shoes a few times now. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. But it is something that's really fun to learn. And I feel like once you get good at it, and once I get good at it, it's going to save me a lot of money because doll shoes are one of the most expensive things in this hobby. And I feel like I never have enough of them. Number 23, boots. Very similar to shoes, but again, a little more structure, a little more finesse, a lot more detail, I think. Number 24 is belts. I have not tried to make belts, but I would love to. I would especially like to make or have like studded belts. I need to figure that out. I might have to 3D print the studs. That might be the way I go about this. But learning how to make belts would be very, very cool and very fun, I think. Number 25, bags and purses. Again, this can be as simple or as complicated as you'd like. You can make something like a simple tote bag, but then you can also make something like an overnight duffel bag that like rolls out and is all fancy. I feel like miniatures of human-sized items are always cute, and I think bags are exceptionally cute when they're tiny. So yeah, you could definitely try making something of that sort. Bonus points if you make a doll, like a purse doll for your doll. Number 26, another really great beginner activity is jewelry. So if you can use seed beads and beading needles, this is a really simple way to do that. I've also seen people make like the braided nylon, like, and turn that into like friendship bracelets for their dolls. Again, there's so many different ways you can make jewelry, and it's just, I don't know, I think that's a really fun place to start, and there's a lot of different options for ways you can do that. Similarly, number 27 is hairpins and clips. You can buy like mini baby clips and then decorate them, but some people will just make like, use wire and make like bobby pins and then clip like that. And those work quite well as well. So yeah, again, a ton of different ways you can do this. You can also make like headbands. I think you just use a bit of armature wire or something. I've made earmuffs this way. Just a fun time. Number 28 is sunglasses, or, you know, like glasses in general. I have 3D printed my own glasses, and I definitely want to try using a bit of like an acrylic or something inside the lenses to make sunglasses, and definitely a project for future me. But yeah, you could definitely try making some sunglasses, or you could try for different weather. And number 29, you could try umbrellas. Now, I know people can make umbrellas. It seems really complicated to me, but I think even like the parasols, like I think I've seen more people make things like that than an actual umbrella. But if you could make that, that would be very, very cool. And number 30 is watches. Something I haven't really seen are like doll Fitbits or like doll Apple Watches or anything. I think that could be really cool and fun, like new accessory for people to try making. Again, I love miniatures of modern human size things. Like I just think that is 10 out of 10 for dolls every time. All right, that was my first 30. It's going to get a little more interesting with like props and stuff in a second. I did want to mention my kind of announcement, maybe now, because we're like 20 minutes into this video I'm filming. I'm sure maybe it will be shorter. I'm trying to talk quite fast, but anyways, this is the time of year where I have started to post about Christmas craft exchange. I used to post more in October, but I got a lot of feedback that that wasn't enough time for people to craft things. And that is such fair feedback because, again, I'm very privileged to be doing this full time, and I do have a lot of moments where I am doing a project and I can kind of pick up a second project on the side and bounce between them. But not everybody gets to do that, so I am giving time. Typically, I would post on Instagram, but another bit of feedback I got last year was a general disappointment that people who aren't on Instagram or aren't on as often missed it and were unable to participate in Craft Exchange. So what I'm doing this year is over on my website, teenytinkers.com. I now have a page linked out from the main page, but also under the About section that is basically a contact form, and you can fill it out for the Craft Exchange. And all you really need to do is to apply saying like who you are, where you live, what kind of things you make, and then link me your socials so that I can see like you have like a presence in the hobby. And it doesn't have to be Instagram. It can be like a Facebook page. It can be a YouTube. It can be a Twitter. It can be literally anything. Just some kind of presence in the hobby. I don't want to exclude anybody who is not on social media though. So you can also like include links to images of things you've made. I would look at that as well. But anyways, I'm not sure how many spots I'm going to be able to take this year because I have this idea where I want to make like art dolls as part of this, or like BJDs or something. I haven't quite fleshed it out, but I had a blast making dolls for people last year, and I definitely want to include dolls. And so I don't know how many spots I can take. And anyways, feel free to apply. You don't have to be a professional. You don't have to have a shop. You don't have to do any of that. I thought it was fitting to mention that in this video because I'm literally giving ideas for the kinds of things you could make even for Craft Exchange, but also, you know, just for your own dolls. With that being said, let's get back to the list, and the next category is props. So number 31 is miniature books. I have made these before. They're super easy, super fun. You can make them so that every page is included and you can actually read the tiny book, or you can just wrap some cardboard in a book binder, like basically bind a piece of cardboard and add a little bit of gloss, and that's quite cute as well. There are tons of free book printables on Google that you can find, and it's a really fun, quick, easy afternoon craft if you're looking for something super simple to make. Similarly, number 32, you can make like a laptop or a computer. A lot of times this can be made out of cardboard as well. I've made mine out of resin before, and that worked really well if you have a 3D printer. But 33, we have smartphones. There are a lot of miniature smartphones kind of like on places like AliExpress that you can find for a few dollars. But they are typically just a thin piece of metal or a thin piece of cardboard. You could definitely make a nicer one if you wanted, or you could make like a miniature of your exact phone, including like a tiny phone case. I feel like that would be super cute. Just an idea. Number 34 is cameras. Very similarly, there are miniatures of cameras. However, I never found them as cute as I wanted or to be as like realistic to the kind of camera I use as I wanted. So I do have a sculpt of a camera. I'm considering putting these back as kit prints on my website. I used to sell kit prints and then I stopped when I got really busy. Maybe I'll bring them back for the fall. They are made to order, but yeah, I might include those back on the website if anyone wants them. But yeah, You can also, besides cameras, you could do number 35, musical instruments. This is something that I would like to sculpt and add to like kit prints, because there are a lot of like little guitars I find, or like little ukuleles, but I'm not seeing like clarinets or flutes or trumpets or like anything like that. And I think I would like to make those, and that would be super cute and fun, I think. But anyways, you could also make them out of like a lot. You can make them out of really anything, like cardboard and beads, and spray paint it. And there are so many different ways to make things. You just have to get like a little creative with materials sometimes. Oh, and also clay. You could 150% use clay. Number 26 is weapons. This is especially good if you do like fantasy BJDs or like medieval or whatever. Having like bow and arrows or like knives, swords, all that would be super cool. And I don't know, I just feel like it would be really fun to make like a replica of like a sword from a video game I liked or something. 28 is tiny art supplies. One of my favorite like props I ever had gifted to me was a tiny can of Mr. Super Clear. I call it squeeing. I squeed when I open it. It was like a noise. It was so cute. Art supplies are something a lot of us use in everyday life, and having tiny versions of it that our dolls can hold on to is so cute. Like, I don't think you can go wrong making your doll tiny art supplies. Like, it's so cute. Number 39 is kitchen utensils. A lot of like doll photography can be like food photography, like where they're eating something. I feel like it's always a really cute photo. And it's a lot more realistic, or like it adds a lot if they have like tiny chopsticks or like little fork or like plates, all of that stuff. It just adds like another level than just like holding a small piece of fruit or something, which is still very, very cute. Don't get me wrong. But utensils being that tiny, so cute. Number 40 is like a super easy one, I think. And that would be like a small photo album for your dolls. You can take all the pictures you've taken of your dolls and make like a tiny little scrapbook for them. I was gifted one of these and I absolutely loved it, so I cannot recommend this enough. All right, the next category is furniture. So I'm going to go through these pretty quickly. Just remember that furniture can be like a big space investment for yourself or your dolls or whoever you're making things for. And to keep in mind the constraints of how big something like a bed would be. But yeah, let's go through this. Number 41, beds. If the doll is 12 scale or 6 scale, bed doesn't take up a lot of room. Actually freaking adorable to have teeny tiny little bed. If somebody collects 3rd scale, a bed is going to be huge. Almost like a pet bed at that point. So just keep that in mind. Number 42, sofas. I got gifted one of these and I still have it and still love it. Number 43, armchairs. Where is mine? Mine is, oh, it's up on my shelf over here. I can't show you, but someone gifted me an armchair as well, and I still use it and display my dolls in it. Number 44, desks. So this is like a simple piece of furniture you can make. It's just a tabletop a lot of times with legs. You can get real fancy and add in like storage and all of that, or moving drawers. Again, there's all different like levels of things you can make for like most of these items. 45, bookshelves, especially if you went wild earlier and made a ton of books for your dolls. You need somewhere to store those. You can make these from scratch, but you can also use like wooden utensil storage or whatever from the dollar store and zhuzh them up a little and turn them into bookshelves. A lot of times they're made out of wood too and are quite sturdy, so I do recommend this. Number 46, wardrobes. Especially if you make a bunch of doll clothes and you want a cute place to display them, I big recommend this one as well. Or number 47, dressers. I do know people who've made dressers from scratch. I love having doll dressers. I like to store like jewelry and stuff in them. I have one right there actually. That one was a thrifted jewelry box that is now holding doll jewelry, but big recommend. Number 47, you can do nightstands. This is like a dresser, but simpler. Or it's like a table, but tinier. I mean, a lot of times too, if you make like a table, like if you did a coffee table for like 6 scale. It could also kind of double in some cases as like a 1/4 scale nightstand. So you can like kind of use furniture for multiple scales, just as an idea. And yeah, number 49 was coffee tables. So we'll just roll that right in. Finally, 50 is vanity tables. This is a really cute idea, especially if you're displaying like doll clothes. It might be really cute to have a vanity table that you can take for like pictures and stuff, where your doll is basically like getting ready. I think that those kind of photos are so, so cute. And yeah, it definitely would be a bit of work, but I feel like it's very doable. And yeah, I think the effect would be worth it. Next category is decor. And this works especially well if you have like a dollhouse or diorama. So number 51 is curtains. Curtains are one of those things that can be quite tedious to make, especially if they have a bit of weight to them, and to get them onto a curtain rod and stuff. So I would definitely have appreciated having curtains made for me because they were such a pain in the butt to make for myself. Number 42 is rugs. I was gifted a few rugs for the craft exchange last year, and rug making or like tufting has been really popular as a hobby for the last couple years for a lot of people. And if that's something like you had kind of got into, like making a tiny like coaster sized version, could like they make really great doll rugs. So like just as an idea. Number 53 is pillows. If you're new to sewing, pillows are a great place to start. A lot of the times they're just a square or rectangle stuffed with cotton and then stitched up at the end. Bonus points if you make a separate case for the pillows. That's super duper cute. Yeah, anything that makes a miniature more realistic is always going to like make it double down in cuteness to me. Similarly, number 54 is blankets. A lot of times you just have to seam the edges. My favorite blankets I've seen though are the ones where it's 2 layers of fabric, you face the nice sides together, stitch almost all of the sides up, turn it inside out, and then stitch the bottom. It looks like a duvet cover, and it just looks a lot cleaner and nicer. But yeah, that's something you can make for your dolls rather simply. And I mean, especially if they have an armchair or a bed or something else, or if they're just sitting on your desk, it might be really cute if they had a little blanket to cuddle up with. Number 55 is wall art. So this can be like any kind of like painting or like drawing or anything like that. Just that's, especially like if you want to get like very live, laugh, love about it, you can make stuff like that. There's all different kinds of wall art. You can just go to Pinterest and search wall art, and there's like 10 billion ideas awaiting you that would be very cute in miniature form. Number 56 is lamps, especially if you're good with LED lights and you can basically turn them into that. There's so many different kinds of lamps. There's these really cute like flower lamps. I love that the tops are like flowers, and like that's freaking adorable. And like I see stuff like that and I'm like, people need to make these immediately, because yeah, I mean, but again, it's probably a lot of work. I've never used LEDs myself to make things, so yeah, don't listen to me too hard. Number 57, I received a bunch of these last year too, and it was plants and flowers, and they were tiny and so cute, and I love them all. And even if you're not using them in a dollhouse, you can just make them like decor for your own house, because like miniature plants are freaking cute. And then you just pull them down for pictures with your dolls or whatever. So like it's a win-win-win, you know. Number 58 is picture frames. This is really easy. A lot of times you can make this with popsicle sticks, you can use cardboard, and you just frame pictures of your dolls, and like, yeah, it's very easy, very cute, and would make like a good gift for like somebody to do like a little framed picture of their doll. I think that's super cute. Number 59 is mirror. A lot of times you can find like the mirror sheets or the like, little stick-on mirrors, and then you can just make a cute frame for it. And number 60 is clocks. Again, you might be able to figure out how to make it move if you're like a watchmaker or something. I don't know. But clocks are something that I never even thought to put in my diorama when I had it, and now I wish I had. Man, I should have had like a cat clock. Why did I not? Oh well. Oh well. All right, next category is wigs and hair pieces. So now we're getting more into like doll customizing like a little bit with this one. So number 61 is custom wigs, especially if you have like a specific character in mind or a specific hairstyle. you know, this is always great. There's a lot of really good wig tutorials out there. You can also just customize like a fur wig or like a synthetic wig if that's more your speed. But I used to be really afraid of making wigs, and I used to really struggle with it. And it's still not something I'm extremely strong at, but I've gotten a lot better at it. And it's definitely a practice makes progress. So I believe in you. You can do it. Similarly, number 62 is hair extensions. I need to figure this out where it's like, it's a wig and then you can just clip in hair extensions. I think this could be kind of like a hair clip situation, like a clip in, but there might be like a cool magnetic way to do this as well, or like a tape in way to do it. Anyways, it would be very cool, especially like for like an emo doll, if you had like clip-ins of those like raccoon tails, you know what I'm talking about? Like, anyways, a fun idea. Number 63, it's kind of a wig, but it's very specific, is braid wigs. Braid wigs are like extremely complicated to make. Like, I've seen a few made well, and I'm just in awe. I would like to try one day, but I feel like I need to get better at making wigs first. If you could make one, that would be super cool. And I have seen people make them, so like you could definitely make one. It might just take a little practice to get there. Number 64, I haven't seen, but beards and mustaches. I feel like there's like cool boy dolls, and like how cool would it be to have like a piece of lace or something with a mustache that you can like just use a little bit, like you can either apply while doing the face up. So like you could put a bit of like glue, the way you glue on eyelashes. So just glue this little mustache on, or these like this beard or whatever. And then like, oh, I just feel like it would be so cool. I don't know. It's just an idea I had. And then finally 65 is hair bands. I kind of mentioned this in accessories, but you can have like elastic hair bands. You can have like the kinds with like ears on them or bows on them, all different kinds. So yeah, and you can also make them so that they like magnet to wigs. You can also do this with like add-on parts like buns and stuff. Magnetic buns are always cool. Next category is food and drink. So we're going in with number 66, which is miniature meals. There's a lot of this on Etsy with miniature foods. A lot of them are polymer clay. I think if I got into making that, that's what I would use. I would like to try that actually. Maybe again in the future, I will try making miniature food with polymer clay. But yeah, they're really cute, and like I'm always blown away by how realistic some of this stuff looks. So yeah, that would be cool. 67, cakes, desserts. So like, this is, I think when I see miniature food, a lot of times it is cakes and desserts. I see a lot of like macarons, I see cake, I see pies. Again, super duper cute. Sometimes people make them as like jewelry for themselves, but definitely you can make them as like food for your dolls. So you could even make like a pie where like pieces of the pie come out. I feel like anytime something's interactive, like that is my favorite. Like I said, the more detail, the better. The more like playability, the better. But yeah, you can get real creative with this. Number 68 is drinks. So with or without mugs, but you can do like, a lot of people will buy like the little plastic like cup looking things or containers and then like fill them with resin in different colors. They might add like little pieces of like clay charms where there's like fruit, or like make little straws. Again, really great prop to have for photos, and I think this is one of the slightly easier things to make, especially if you have a bit of experience with resin already. 69 is something that I thought of, which would be like a picnic set. Like how cute would that be? Like a tiny little basket where it opens and it's got like maybe a little blanket on top. I don't know. But then there's like little containers with food, or like little, I don't know. It could just be like all the different food stuff that you already made, but like you could make it all match and go in this little basket. I just think it would be so cute. Okay. Like it would be so cute. And then number 70, I have candy. Again, things like candy canes for Christmas, things like lollipops. You can even get like really simple, and instead of making like the candy itself, you can like find printables of like Skittles bags or like chip bags or anything like that, and you can print them and then cover them in like packing, like clear packing tape, and it gives it more of like that crinkly bag feel to it. So yeah, there's lots of different options. Could be a fun thing to just make like a little grocery haul for your dolls like that. So, okay, next category is seasonal and holiday. I've mentioned Christmas a couple times and Halloween a couple times, but here are some ideas for seasonal things you can make for your dolls. Number 71, again, I said costumes earlier, but yeah, Halloween costumes specifically, scary things, masks, anything like that. I feel like a Scream mask would be really cool. There are free printables on Thingiverse for some of this stuff, so if you go poke around there, you might be able to find something if you have access to a 3D printer. Number 72 is Christmas decorations. I have made so many Christmas decorations, and you can too, because I feel like, I don't know, and it's cute anyways. If you have any kind of desk space or whatever, decorating it for Christmas, like, is so fun. I have so many Christmas decorations, so I probably don't need to make any more, but I do enjoy decorating like my office for like Christmas every year. And yeah. Number 73 is Easter eggs. Like, oh my god, I loved painting Easter eggs. I still make like ceramic ones sometimes with my kids, or like plastic ones. But it's been a couple years, they're getting old. But you could make like tiny eggs out of polymer clay and then paint them like, oh, so cute, so tiny, oh my gosh. And then like have a tiny doll Easter egg hunt. Like number 74, I have Valentine's gifts. You can make like a little box of Valentine's chocolates. You can make a Valentine's Day card. You could do like, I mean, there's so many different like things, like a Valentine's Day stuffy. Yeah, there's like literally like candy hearts. Oh my god, I love candy hearts. They're so cute. Like, what about like a tiny doll-sized candy heart necklace? Like, stop. And then number 75, I have New Year's accessories. By this, I mean like the hats with the year on them. I mean like those silly glasses. Like there's like the 2000, I guess they don't work anymore because it's 2025 will be the next one. And it was fun when it was like 2005 because the O's were the eyes. Like, I don't know if you remember that era, but yeah, super cute. I think like the little like, what are the things you blow into and they go brrr, like those things in doll size would be really cute. Yeah, just as an idea, I don't know. Next category is fantasy and sci-fi. So yeah, let's just pop right into it. Number 76, I have wings. I feel like there's a lot of different ways to make wings. You can use wire and make articulated wings. You can use resin and make like a solid wing or like a ball jointed wing. I've made all these kinds of wings. And it really depends on the doll I'm going for and how I want to attach it to the doll. But yeah, there's like number 77, horns. Again, these are all just like add-on fantasy parts. You can make them out of basically anything and magnet them to your doll's head. You can also just use a bit of like sticky tack or whatever to stick them on as well. Same with number 78, tails. You can do this like in classic furry style where it is like belted around your waist, but you could also just have it magnet on. It again depends on the look and the idea that you're going for, but yeah, like I think a fuzzy foxtail or something would be very cute. Number 79, animal masks or masquerade masks. Yep, not really much else to say about that. This could also kind of fall under New Year's supplies, but again, depends on the mask you're making and for what. And number 80, armor. Like, there's a lot of people who do make armor. It can be very complicated. It can be very simple. Either way, making armor could be very cool if you're into like the whole like fantasy genre of doll. All right, second last category is kind of like things I thought of, but then I was like, that might be kind of advanced to make, but I don't know, some of the things I've mentioned already might be a bit advanced to make, but anyways, let's jump right into it. We're coming towards the end of this list, which took a lot longer to go through than I thought. So anyways, number 81, resin eyes. Again, you need to have kind of a knowledge of using resin to do this. You can find molds on places like Amazon and then like make them from there. But yeah, painting realistic or even like cute fantasy eyes takes practice, and making eyes without bubbles takes a lot of practice. But once you get the hang of it, it's really quite fun. And I basically make all of my own doll eyes now. And 82 doll stands. Sometimes a doll needs a stand. I feel like this is something I need to make more of. I have no quarter scale doll stands, and I think I should. Especially, I think, like, doll stands that are themed to the doll, especially if you have like a permanent outfit a doll's in or something. I think that is super cool and cute. I know Dolliful makes themed stands sometimes. So yeah, just an idea. Number 83, dioramas in general. Now, a diorama in a lot of cases is everything I've already listed, but there's also the building of the house. If you do things like, when I made mine, I made like baseboards, I made light switches, I made like electrical outlets. Like it was basically like a carpentry project before I even got to all of the props and like design choices. But it was a really, really fun project. And if you have the space, time, and energy, I strongly recommend trying it out at least once. Number 84, customizing joints for your dolls. If you are hoping to get or wanting to get into doll making, this can be like a really great place to start. A lot of people will start with heads, and that is absolutely great. But if you're starting on like bodies, trying to figure out how to mod a joint or to make a new joint for a body to like add onto it is a very cool place to start. I've seen people add like extra torso pieces with extra arms and then like string them independently, and that's very cool. So something like that, or just like changing the way, like changing a hip joint to make it move differently. Maybe you're going to turn like a kind of simple double hip joint into like a more complicated one, or I don't know. There's like a million things you can do. Could be a cool thing to try out. I would love to see if anyone has done that, besides the one maybe I've mentioned. I don't know. Number 85 is something I want to make, and that's prosthetics. I want to make a doll with prosthetic option parts. There's like 10 billion options for what this could look like or what this would be, but it's something I want to offer. So yeah. 86 is tattoos and decals. I know there are people who make like nail art decals, and if you can make nail art decals, you can probably make tattoos. Again, I've never made nail art decals, so I could not tell you how to do that, but I do know people do make them. But you can do it's almost like a transfer on tattoo for dolls, and you just seal it under like Mr. Super Clear once it's dry. But yeah, very possible, and it would be super cool to make custom doll tattoos. It's something I'd like to try if I could ever figure it out. Because right now, if I want to tattoo my doll, I just draw it on and paint it like a face-up. So number 87 is mechanical parts. Not quite like prosthetics, but like if you're making, maybe if you wanted like a cyborg doll, and you wanted to make it like have mechanical parts. Again, this is like insanely specialized. You could have like parts that light up, or like eyes that light up, or anything like that. Again, just an idea, not something I've done or could tell you how to do. But number 88 is electronic accessories. So this would be like tiny working props, maybe like a laptop that turns on, if you can like be super advanced with it, I guess. Or like even just like a little handheld light that turns on, or like, I don't know, like there's a lot of things that like glow sticks, like how would you do like a piece of LED, but like how would that work with it's like a glow stick necklace would be a super cool accessory to be able to make. Anyways, just as an idea, like anything that could light up or like move independently or on its own would be very, very, very cool. Number 89, display cases, kind of in the same idea as stands, but sometimes people who have dolls or small figures will have display cases for the dolls, and they'll be themed around the doll. Like if you had a bunch of like dolls in like tiny dolls in pink outfits, you could like have like this really cute Hello Kitty like display case for them. Anyways, just an idea, especially if you're looking for a way to display your dolls. Could be really fun to do like a DIY display case situation. You could even use those like those like transparent acrylic shoe containers. You could definitely use one of those as a base, and that would be very. And number 90 is sewing patterns. Like I said, drafting your own sewing patterns is difficult, especially to get them exactly how you want them to be. But if you plan on sewing a lot for your doll, it makes sense to make a pattern, at least for like the base items. Okay, final category is miscellaneous. So these are just completely random items that I thought of and I didn't really know where else to put, maybe except for like general props and stuff. But yeah, we've only got 10 items left. Let's get through them. I'm honestly just getting very tired. Number 91. Number 91 is cards or like albums based on your dolls. So like a tiny photo album of your dolls. Christmas cards of your dolls, especially in miniature. I've gotten a couple of these with craft exchanges before, and they're always a treat, and they're always like included in my box of Christmas like decorations. I just think they're adorable. Number 92 is miniature dioramas, like tiny little dioramas or like snow globes. I got a couple of these last year from Tappy Diary for craft exchange, and they are some of my favorite things I've ever received ever. They're all on a little shelf up here. I was like kind of glancing at them, but one of my favorite things I've ever gotten. So yeah, and I don't know, they're just so creative. It just seems like really fun to make, you know. Number 93 is my favorite thing, and it's art dolls or art dolls for dolls. Here are some examples of art dolls for dolls. These were made for me by Tappy Diary as well. They're like little felt rag dolls of my doll characters. They're like, honestly, like, I cannot tell you how much I love them. They're some of my favorite things. Again, Tappy Diary always knocks it out of the park, but some of my favorite things I've ever received. But yeah, anyways. Number 94. Oh my god, like all my references for this, I think, are like Tappy Diary. I have a couple, but it's tiny fan art paintings or drawings of your dolls or their dolls or whoever's dolls. Here's an example of a cross stitch that was made for me, which is absolutely insane, of my logo, like, and I also have this one. This was Tappy Diary. Like, are we kidding? That's kind of in the same vein. Number 95, a doll fan fiction story. Like, this just seems like a really silly, funny thing to like have, especially if it's like in a tiny book. I don't know. I was like, that seems silly, and I would probably like that, but you know, thought I'd mention it. Number 96, I had doll cross stitch. Sorry, the Teeny Tinkers one is my reference for that, but sorry, cross stitch. I also have another one somewhere. I think it's in my prop box, but it's like tiny little cross stitch, and it's stupidly cute too. Number 97, matching things with dolls, like accessories, clothes, whichever, but especially if you have a piece that you wear a lot, it's very cute to like make it so your doll and you can match. Like, Number 98 is special interest items for dolls, especially like if you have a special interest, like, I don't know, Pokemon. It can be really fun to like make a Pokedex for your dolls, like. So it's really hard to narrow that down, because that's why I kind of put it like that, because special interest items, there's like 10 bajillion things you could make with that. But if you think about what your interests outside of dolls, or like what your friends' interests outside of dolls are, and think, how can I make that doll sized? Number 99 is a carry bag, or like carrying vessel of some kind. I see a lot of people make things like Eda bags, or like just doll carry cases. Like, it can be like a soft pouch, it can be like a plastic front pouch, like a display pouch, or display bag. There's so many different options if you know how to make bags or anything like that. Yeah, it's just a cool thought. That's like pretty next level though. I feel like you have to be pretty skilled to make that kind of stuff. Finally, number 100 is kind of like the accessories matching, but like matching clothes. So like, again, if you have a shirt you like, a shirt for them, or just a set. If you're making them from scratch, You can always buy fabrics where it's like a very similar print in different scales, or you can just like do transfers. Like you can make transfers so that you can make yourself a matching t-shirt with your doll, and like that's super cute too. Lots of different options. I recently made, it's not near me, is it? Okay, so I'm like fast forwarding to a future video. I have this like jacket that's this like purple oversized, like hugely oversized bunny coat with like, I just love it, okay? And I made one for my dolls recently. Like, it looks so much like mine. Like I don't know, like that kind of stuff. I think that is the greatest thing ever, and that's why it's number 100. But yeah, that was a long list. This took much longer than I thought it would to film, and I talked really fast, so I don't... But anyways, that's the end of this video. Again, if you're interested in joining the Christmas Craft Exchange, maybe this list inspired you, you can go to my website. It's linked down below, and then like apply through there. Or you can just make cool things for yourself. If you make anything on this list and want to share it with me, that would be very cool as well. But yeah, if you're already subscribed, thanks so much for subscribing. If you're new here, I hope you like the content and consider subscribing. As always, I hope you have a fantastic day.